Today, I'm going to teach you how to build a successful capsule wardrobe for any season, any dress code that's never boring and also maximizes the amount of looks that you can create with the most minimal amount of items. So today, I'm going to break down the steps for you. I think this is a great starting video for my beginners out there. Also amazing for my travelers that want to pack a month's worth of looks with a small suitcase. I just think this is a great starting point for anyone that's into the capsule wardrobe concept of intentionality and maximizing with what you have. I will link my entire playlist of capsule wardrobes for you up here. Let's get started. Step number one is to understand the formula. So the formula goes, I start with 4 tops, then I do 4 bottoms. Then I have 1 piece that's like a dress or a 1-piece item, 2 pieces of outerwear, 2 different shoes, and then the supporting accessories, which I do not include in the final count. What I like about this number of pieces is that it's just enough where the outfits don't look crazy repetitive, but it's still minimal enough where you can fit it on a clothing rack, you can fit it in a suitcase, and there's like enough pieces where you can do laundry in between. I mean, like if you only got 2 shirts, those things are gonna get stinky real fast. So I always found that this was a great harmony and a mixture of maximum looks, minimal pieces. Step number 2 is selecting the colors. So the general rule I like to follow is to do as many neutrals as possible. It's gonna be easier because you wanna make sure that all of your tops can match with all of your bottoms. That's 4 pieces on the top, 4 pieces on the bottom. So if all of them could go together, that's already 16 base outfits right there. I think that's how math works, right? 4 times 4. So neutrals just automatically give you the flexibility and less mental thinking so that they all cohesively go together. Also, if you invest in neutrals, you can carry them over into the next seasons a lot easier versus doing very unique colors, which makes it complicated for mixing and also for, again, longevity. So I try to follow a rule of like 80% neutrals and then 20% a seasonal accent color. So in terms of neutrals, as you see in my examples, I like to do tans, blues, white, cream, gray, or black. Those typically can harmonize so well together, and if you use that as the majority of the base for your capsule, you'll have a lot less stress making sure that every single top can match with every single bottom, which is one of the first things you want to go for. Next thing to think about is your outer pieces. One of my favorite go-tos is always a trench coat. It's like a core piece of my style profile. It matches with everything, especially if you get like a tan or camel color. Making sure the outers match with one of the other predominant colors in the capsule is really helpful. For example, black top, black blazer, that creates a very professional look because you're keeping a minimal color palette. And then if you are wanting to incorporate an accent color, I like to go seasonal. I've done a light blue before for the accent color, and all of it's supported by neutrals. For summer, you can do pink. Everything else is supported by neutrals. For the autumn, you can do a maroon color. And then for the winter, you can do like emerald or some kind of jewel tone color to spice things up for the holidays. So it doesn't have to be boring, it doesn't have to always be neutrals, but I think it's fun to do a seasonal color just because you have more options in the market to select from. And then the last note, if you are starving for some inspiration, you could also incorporate a pattern. Patterns are great because it breaks up all the solid colors, especially if things are getting monotonous and boring, and you can use the color palette of the pattern to pull out the accent color and the neutrals, so it's almost like you're building the capsule around this pattern that you're really inspired by. Number 3 is variety, and this is like one of the key points to make sure your capsules don't look repetitive and boring. So what I try to look for is a variety in terms of necklines, lengths of the sleeves, and style of bottoms. Let's take the tops for example. You can do a strapless, spaghetti strap, short sleeve, long sleeve, V-neck, square neck, crew neck, turtleneck, and then for the bottoms, you have jeans, pants, trousers, shorts, skirts. I like to not only change up whether it's a skirt or a pant, but also the various lengths. And another way to incorporate variety is the actual materials and textures. So for example, for warmer weather, you can do sheer, linen, denim, crinkled, gauze. And then for the colder seasons, you have corduroy and wool and knits, coated, patent. So when it comes to variety and you're taking a step back and looking at those coveted 4 slots for your tops and 4 slots for the bottoms, making sure you don't have 2 pieces that look the same in terms of neckline, length, and material can really amp up the uniqueness of your capsule wardrobe. Number 4, this one's a quickie, but I wanted to give it its own spotlight. I like to look for versatile pieces that can be worn multiple ways. That can increase the number of unique looks that you can create. Great pieces for this is a button-down shirt because you can wear it as a singular top, especially for workwear. You can unbutton it as like a light cover-up, especially for the summer, or you can tie it up and create a cute little crop top, right? So even though you're wearing the same shirt multiple times, you can style it in so many different ways where it's different articles of clothing. Same thought process as a shirt dress. You can wear it open, closed. And then the last pieces I really love are things where you can take it like on and off the shoulder. That creates a really different neckline. Just like this blouse, I can have a square neck, more covered up blouse, or I can take it off the shoulder and make it more romantic. I also have this top here as another example that had multi-ways, so that changes up the neckline drastically. So when you're thinking about like the dress you want to put in, or maybe a top that needs to break up these more simpler tops, having something that can be worn multi-ways is like so useful. And a great hack is to incorporate a matching set, which I do so often because monochromatic is just a foolproof outfit idea to match the top and the bottom, but you can split them apart and intermix them with the other pieces. So it just adds to the harmony of the whole capsule. And last but not least, number 5, shoes and accessories. I pretty much have the same thought process for all of my capsule wardrobes. I try to do a flat shoe with a heeled shoe. Again, this is very personal preference. If you don't like heels, please just do 2 flats. If you don't like flats, you can do 2 heels like I've done many times in the past. But basically, I like to stick with a black pair and a tan pair. Doesn't matter the season, but typically because I'm harmonizing so many neutrals together, I need a light and a dark shoe, and I apply that same color theory with the bags. You'll often see me having a black and a brown bag. You can do texture with the bag, especially if you have a lot of flat clothes that season. You could do things that are rattan, natural, different materials. And then of course, the size of the bag is really up to you. Do not feel like you need to have a little tiny micro bag when you're a busy mom, and maybe you need 2 different tote bags instead. Like, I just love the idea of having 2 pairs of shoes, 2 bags hanging at the entryway, and you could just yank the 2 browns that match together, the 2 black pieces that match together. And then I like to think of the accessories like the cherry on top. This is in the form of jewelry. You can do nice bold jewelry to jazz things up in gold or silver. You could incorporate belts. I have a video on my belt collection if you're looking to zhuzh yours up, but a belt can really punctuate an outfit or just add so much more style and polish to a look, especially if you have high-waisted trousers. And then one of my favorite style weapons is a scarf. The scarf is a way where you can incorporate color. Again, if you want to incorporate a pattern but not have to deal with the stress of finding the perfect pattern for your capsule wardrobe, having a scarf just on the bag or in your hair or styled as a headband can bring everything together with that extra little zhuzh, but low risk. And the great thing is if you invest in really high quality accessories that match so well, that's the thing you can bring into every single capsule wardrobe throughout the seasons of the year. All right, everyone, so those are the 5 steps I follow whenever I create my seasonal capsule wardrobes. You got the formula, think about the colors, variety in cut styles and textures, incorporating multi-purpose pieces, and then finally layer up the great accessories to put the cherry on top. Again, I will link my entire playlist history of all my capsule wardrobes for you guys in this video and down below in the description box. I love you guys so much. Give your girl a thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. Sending you so much love out there, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!